the man was reborn as the villain in the novel. He was easily controlled by all the female leads as soon as he appeared on the scene. 1 second, he was trying every means to divorce Quinn. The next second, he brought her home to stay overnight. Early the next morning, Quinn rubbed her sleepy eyes and got up to freshen up. When she walked out, she ran into Theo, who had just finished showering. Theo was full of energy. He looked a bit weird when he saw Quinn. "Why is this woman staring at me? Could she be thinking about what happened last night?" Drunkard. I must not drink with her next time, or I will drink myself to death. Otherwise, I won't be able to keep my purity. Hearing Theo's voice in his heart, Quinn felt his face heat up again. Remembering what happened in the car last night, she was a bit afraid to look Theo in the eye. She said, "Good morning," and then lowered her head to move forward. "This is the reaction you should have. Be a bit cold towards me, you know." Theo followed behind, feeling somewhat pleased. This woman seemed to have returned to normal. David prepared dinner early this morning. After all, it's the first time his future daughter-in-law is having dinner at home. She should be treated with a little extra care. He is very satisfied with Quinn. This girl is beautiful and capable, although a bit reserved. She has made his son a simp for 3 years. Theo buried his head and ate without even greeting. David was a bit dissatisfied, saying that Theo was only focused on eating by himself. Why didn't he help Quinn by serving her some food? Theo pursed his lips and said, "It's impossible for me to serve her food, not now, not ever. If she loves eating, she can eat. If she doesn't, that's on her. I'm not interested in taking care of other people's harem." Listen to Theo's words. Quinn suddenly felt a bit itchy in her teeth. This bastard. It's just serving food, not like she's eating him. She looked guilty, and said she had caused trouble for the Quinn family. David smiled warmly and said, "It's okay, it's okay. It's all because this kid is not behaving well. He insisted on taking you out for drinks." Theo looked incredulous. Is he taking the blame for his own profession? Quinn bit her lip, looking aggrieved. "It was me who insisted on going for a drink with him. It's my fault." When she said this, David actually became even more satisfied with her. "You're at it again, huh? Trying to win favor with my parents. You're trying to trap me on purpose. You don't want to bear the pressure of breaking off the engagement. You want me to take the blame." After pondering for a while, Theo finally understood. He is ready to bring up the topic of marriage again. But before he could finish speaking, David had already pulled out his belt. His own son. He insisted on being a simp, and did so for a full 3 years. Now that he has finally obtained the beauty, this boy is causing trouble again. Isn't this asking for a beating? Meanwhile, in the Wang group, Shirley is going through an investigation report about the French company F Company. After listening to Theo's heartfelt words last time, she has gained more and more information under her control. After a few days of investigation, the truth has now been laid out before her. F Company does have a lot of problems. And the person in charge, who has been trying to advance this business. Suddenly, there was an extra 20 million renminbi on his wife's bank card a while ago. She asked someone to check the source of this money, and found out it was transferred by a female celebrity called Nana. And the sugar daddy sponsoring this female celebrity is her own cousin, Noah. If she didn't guess wrong, most of these 20 million yuan should be the deposit for the person in charge. Shirley's eyes flashed a hint of coldness. She would definitely not show mercy to this kind of untrustworthy person who tries to take advantage of others, even if it was her own cousin. However, she is more concerned about another person than Noah. This person has already made it onto her hit list, but she hasn't investigated his background clearly. His identity is too mysterious, shrouded in a fog. Currently, the only thing she can investigate is an investment company called Gold. This company invested a huge amount of money half a month ago to become the largest shareholder of F Company. But this company does not belong to Chris. This person hides very deeply. The man reborn became the villain in the novel. but he became the divine assistant for the female leads. With Theo's mental guidance, Shirley successfully investigated the company's issues. However, investigating Chris was not an easy task. She thought for a moment and made a phone call. After about 10 minutes or so, a middle-aged man walked in. He is the person in charge of the company, Dylan. As soon as he entered, Shirley asked him how many years he had been with the company. Dylan laughed and said, "Exactly 30 years. I've devoted my whole life to the company." Shirley suddenly slammed the table and coldly said, "Is it devoted to the company, or is it $1 billion for Noah?" Dylan's eyes flashed with a hint of fear. However, his face remained calm, pretending to be puzzled. Shirley's face remained icy cold as she continued to threaten. This made Dylan's legs go weak. He quickly knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Soon, he confessed everything. Shirley was somewhat shocked after listening. Everything was perfectly expressed by Theo's thoughts. "It's a good idea for Chris to provoke me." She coldly smiled in her heart. She had already come up with a revenge plan. She decided to let Dylan tell Noah first and agreed to cooperate this time. Dylan nodded repeatedly, breathing a sigh of relief. Just as he was about to take the elevator to find Noah, Noah came out of the elevator holding a document. Dylan then told him the news that Shirley agreed to cooperate. Noah's face lit up with joy. In this way, once the plan is successful, the position of general manager will soon fall into his hands. As for the cousin, she will just obediently get married. Noah returned to the office and called Chris. At this moment, Chris is patrolling in the community. His mood instantly improved upon receiving Noah's call. He then made a call to Dragon Soul Group, instructing his subordinates to transfer $30 billion from the organization's account to F Company. Because this time F Company is cooperating with Wong Group. Wong Group will provide $50 billion funds, and F Company needs to provide $30 billion funds and technical personnel. But the current F Company is already an empty shell. So for this money, they have to get it from the Dragon Soul Group. But this money is just temporarily taken out and frozen. After conquering the Shirley Wong family, tens of billions of wealth will all belong to them. After Dragon Soul Group transfers the money to F Company, Shirley, who has been closely watched, is the first to receive the news. A smile appears on Shirley's face. She has also investigated the tax evasion of F Company thoroughly. Tax evasion in France is quite serious in nature. Once caught, they will face hefty fines. According to her estimation, that $300 billion might not be enough for the fine. But that's not enough. She looked into Gold Investment Company. The company's assets are around $500 billion. Just $300 billion is not considered a major loss for them. Her revenge is just beginning. She thought about it. She took out her phone and messaged Theo. "Let's go out for a meal. I have some business to discuss with you." At this moment, Theo just arrived at his own company. His boat was not yet warm when he received Shirley's message about business discussion. Theo chuckled. Keeping a distance from the female lead was the only way to survive. So, he replied with 2 words, "No time." Shirley quickly replied, and even sent a picture over. "Well, there's nothing that can be done. Yesterday when I was cleaning my phone, I accidentally found some old photos that I forgot to delete. I have no idea what will happen if I post them on Moments." Theo took a glance at it. His expression changed immediately. "Oh no, isn't this a photo of me in her room?" He quickly put away his phone, tears in his eyes, and left the company. When he arrived at Deep Sea Restaurant, Shirley was already waiting at the door. Theo had a cold face, looking displeased. "Isn't Deep Sea Restaurant a place to eat people? Are we here to discuss business or multi-billion-dollar deals?" Upon hearing Theo's thoughts, Shirley's mouth twitched. "This guy seems afraid that I will eat him." She reached out her arm and looked at Theo. Theo knew this woman was indirectly threatening him, but he could only obediently reach out and hold Shirley's arm. The man is reborn as the villain in the novel. He was forced to participate in his ex-girlfriend's revenge plan. In order to help the male lead successfully transition to a new career, Shirley asked Theo out. She couldn't help but stare at Theo's handsome face, with a gentle smile in her eyes. Even though she was in a fictional world, she didn't mind. As long as she was a real existence, that was fine. However, she was not very happy with the plot development. Having that guy, who looked like he was seriously ill when he smiled, become the male lead of a harem was ridiculous. Isn't my Theo lovely? Theo suddenly noticed Shirley's gaze while eating. Being stared at like that by such a beauty, Theo felt a bit embarrassed. You're blushing. Let me see. Shirley teased playfully before speaking. Recently, I'm planning to invest in a project. I'm short of 30 billion. How about investing together? Theo paused for a moment. With the Tang family's assets, taking out 30 billion in liquid funds wouldn't be much of a pressure. But why does she need 30 billion at this time? Theo coughed and asked seriously. Shirley smiled and squinted, saying, New energy. Didn't you think it was great last time? Okay. Then consider me investing in this project. But you have to agree to 2 conditions. First, don't bother me unless it's important. Second, remember not to get too close as men and women. Shirley nodded vigorously. Since words alone don't count, you are indifferent to me today. I'll come find you again tomorrow. Third, give me your phone. Fourth, I want to delete all the videos and photos. A woman of many tricks. Later, I will delete all the photos and videos. You won't be able to threaten me anymore. Shirley hesitated for a moment. Then she took out her phone and handed it to Theo. Theo took the phone readily. He first opened WeChat and deleted the photos in the chat history. Then he also deleted the videos. In the end, only the photos in the album were left. He opened the album and was dumbfounded. Shirley looked stunning in the first photo. But damn. Is this available for me to see for free? He kept sliding his fingers on the screen. After flipping through more than 10 photos, he finally got past the bunny girl outfit. But next, there was another set of nurse uniform. Theo's face was starting to blush. Fortunately, after getting past this nurse outfit, he finally managed to find the candid photo of himself. He quickly deleted the embarrassing history before returning the phone to Shirley. Shirley is feeling quite pleased right now. A woman dresses up for the one she wants to please. She intentionally took these photos to tease this guy. She didn't expect him to take the bait willingly. Theo cleared his throat twice. His eyes looked a bit guilty. At this point, Shirley urged, Hurry up and get someone to transfer the money. I will inform you once the project succeeds. Theo nodded and made a call to the company with his phone. After the call, his mood instantly improved a lot. The bunny girl outfit is indeed nice. It would be even better if it showed a little less. We'll ask Elias later to arrange it. Shirley then remembered. She almost forgot to settle the score with this kid. Last time she took Theo to the Galaxy Club and arranged a bunch of girls for him. She'll find someone to take care of him later. After the 2 of them left the restaurant, they each drove back to their own company. When Shirley returned, the funds on Tang Group's side were already in place. Coupled with the 50 billion yuan she had prepared, the total came to a whopping 80 billion yuan. This time, she's going for a big move to make the guy named Chris bleed heavily. He's the protagonist. Theo is the villain who will play against him and take him down on his own. Let's see how he fares as the protagonist. The man has just been reborn as the villain in a novel. He then assists his ex-girlfriend in ruining the male lead. Shirley first intentionally collaborated with F Company, then had Chris invest 30 billion. She then publicly reported F Company's tax evasion behavior, causing them to face exorbitant fines. After F Company's scandal was exposed, Gold Investment Company, being its largest shareholder, also suffered significant losses. They were found to have illegally misappropriated funds. Relevant authorities have launched an investigation. After this news came out, the stock price of Gold Investment Company immediately plummeted. Chris exploded in anger the moment he received this news. With F Company going bankrupt, His plan to woo Shirley was completely ruined. He suffered such a big loss all of a sudden. His heart was practically bleeding. What he found even more unacceptable was that gold investment companies suffered heavy losses. The company is now desperately pouring money into the market to save it. Gold Investment is one of the major companies under the Dragon Soul Group. The total assets are around 500 billion. Now, with this recent stock market crash, their losses are at least close to 1 trillion. On the phone, the reports keep coming in. The main reason for this wave of losses is that someone took advantage of the situation to short sell. The other party has injected a total of 80 billion ex-country funds. The organization has already investigated clearly. This money was invested by Wang Group and Tang Group. Chris's face turned green. How could these two families do such a thing? Where did the problem arise? Their own plan should have been seamless. But as long as his identity remains hidden and undisclosed, he just needs to find another way to win over Shirley. When it comes to conquering a woman, he has countless methods. As for the money Theo made this time, one day he will have to pay back with his life. Then he took out his phone and sent a text message to his subordinate Arya, demanding that within half a month, they must investigate the evidence against the Tang Group. I want the Tang family to have a hard time. After sending the text, he went to Villa 8. Miss Ivy, from the Qin family, lives here. Seeing that there was no one around, he casually threw the snake into the villa through the window on the second floor. Then he stood downstairs silently waiting for the chance to play the hero and rescue the damsel in distress. At this moment, Theo, who was lying at home like a couch potato, suddenly heard a system prompt in his ear. Host successfully survived the plot. Reward: ownership of Moon Hotel transferred to the host. He looked puzzled. He hadn't done anything at home. The system's voice sounded, indicating that he had successfully survived 88 chapters of the plot. Theo thought for a moment. In this chapter, Chris's plan was successful. Shirley successfully fell into his trap. The 500 billion funds of Wang Group were frozen. Next, Noah starts a power struggle. Then Theo comes out to flirt with girls in the plot. Theo smiled contentedly. After working hard to act for so long, finally I have received the reward I deserve. Feeling quite good, he stood up and tidied himself up, preparing to go see his new reward. The name Moon Hotel sounds ordinary, but it is extremely well known in the Sioux region. Its value is about 20 billion. This time the system is making such a big move, which Theo did not expect. I walked into the garage. Theo had just planned to take a sports car and go out, but he found out that the company was calling. Theo transferred 300 billion to Wang Group a few days ago. The investment has already been returned, and there is also a profit of 150 billion. Theo started to feel that something was wrong. This money should not have been invested by Shirley into the new energy project, especially since it was frozen. How could there still be a profit of 150 billion after it was returned? Making money is a happy thing, but this doesn't seem right. Theo quickly hung up the phone and dialed Shirley's number. Shirley's sweet voice came through the phone. He cleared his throat and said, "What's the situation with the investment project we worked on last time?" I suddenly realized there were some issues with the company we were collaborating with. So, I used the money intended for investment to short the other party. Made a little profit. I'll let you know if there's another money-making opportunity next time. This plot is really falling apart again. Theo is feeling a bit like spitting blood. Is it so difficult for me to quietly live and earn some rewards? Theo wiped away a tear and hung up the phone. The man was reborn as the villain in the novel. He found out that the male lead turned out to be a greasy Sea King character trope. His simp skills are truly unparalleled. He had just suffered a loss from Shirley, and then he immediately came to the Quinn family. He approached with a smile and greeted Quinn. Quinn saw him. His brows furrowed slightly. Unexpectedly, this slight expression made Chris feel a little sweet. She tried to protect herself. Is she trying to distance herself from him by displaying this indifferent attitude? Quinn pushed open the car door and got out. With an impatient look, he was ready to go home. Chris quickly stood in front of her. With a loving look, he said, "Stop pretending. Eyes never lie. You care about me. You are just afraid that I will be hurt by the Tang family. But I am stronger than you think. Soon you will know who calls the shots in the Sioux region." Quinn was so disgusted that he almost threw up his lunch. The murderous look in his eyes definitely doesn't lie. At this moment, several members of the Quinn family happened to walk out from the house. They were furious to see Chris blocking Quinn and the others here. The two bodyguards immediately rushed forward with fists clenched in an imposing manner. Chris stood there with a proud look on his face, letting the two bodyguards punch him. He then gently shook his body, using their force against them. The two bodyguards were pushed back a few steps and fell to the ground. Upon seeing this scene, everyone from the Quinn family was equally astonished. Seeing the shocked expressions of everyone, Chris smirked and said, "I had originally intended to keep a low profile, but you all just couldn't help underestimating me." 3 days later will be Quinn's birthday. I will be hosting a birthday party for her. I am going to book the top floor of Moon Hotel for her, to give her the best birthday celebration. Besides that, I will also give the Quinn family a big gift. You have been secretly planning to acquire the piece of land in the west of the city, right? I will help you secure it. He originally wanted to keep a low profile, but the performance of Quinn and the members of the Quinn family left him very dissatisfied. So from now on, he wants to slowly demonstrate his strength in order to quickly control the Sioux region. The members of the Quinn family all laughed and began to mock him. They all looked at Chris with eyes that seemed like they were looking at a clown, thinking that this person must be out of his mind. Not to mention anything else. Just taking over the top floor of Moon Hotel is already an impossible task. 2 years ago, it was Quinn's birthday. Theo went to meet with the manager of Moon Hotel in person. He offered a price of $3 billion. Moon Hotel still refused. They clearly stated that the rules cannot be broken unless Theo directly buys the hotel. Tang family can't do it. What qualifications does he have to do it? Faced with ridicule from everyone, Chris just gave a cold smile. He took out the prepared documents from his pocket and threw them to the Quinn family crowd. Ryan grabbed the thrown documents and glanced at them, instantly shocked. It was confidential information about the piece of land in the west of the city. The documents also contained information about 2 other pieces of land that the city government planned to develop in the second half of the year. Just based on this information, if the Quinn family seized the opportunity successfully, it would mean profits in the billions. After the other members of the Quinn family saw this information, their gazes toward Chris changed. From the perspective of the family's interests, everyone's mindset changed in an instant. Quinn, however, didn't think much about it. She was not interested in Chris at all. But Chris had talked big, which turned out to be a great opportunity to completely get rid of him. So she said coldly, "Fine. This is what you said. If it doesn't work out then, you're not allowed to bother me anymore in the future." Anyway, the top floor of Moon Hotel is definitely unattainable for exclusive booking. If he goes back on his word later, he won't have the face to continue bothering me. Chris nodded proudly, and then swaggered away. But he hadn't walked far when a car stopped in front of him. A tall man got out of the car. This man is one of the 8 warlords of the Dragon Soul group, named Brooks, whom Chris trusts deeply. Wherever he goes, he always brings Brooks along. After Gold Investments suffered a major loss a few days ago, Chris recalled him from Europe to X country and had him mobilize a whopping $500 billion in funds. They successfully acquired the Stone Company in the Sioux region and renamed it LC Company. This Sioux region is not quite what he had in mind. Relying solely on being low-key is too slow to get things done. He decided to speed up the conquest of Sioux region LC Company, just as pioneer. The man was reborn as the villain in the novel. He only needs to survive a certain plotline to receive the corresponding rewards. But this will also cause the butterfly effect, leading to significant changes and advancements in the plot. Theo came to Moon Hotel to check his rewards. He had followed the system for so many rounds. The reward this time is indeed generous. But he always feels something is not quite right. At this time, the general manager of the hotel was already waiting for him. They had just sat down for a short while when his secretary rushed in. "Manager, the person in charge of LC Company is here at our hotel. They said they want to contract the top floor of the hotel to host a birthday banquet." The general manager furrowed his brow. The top floor of Moon Hotel is a major highlight of the hotel, mainly due to its excellent view. Every day, distinguished guests come here to spend their money. However, if someone were to exclusively lease the top floor of the hotel, it would surely offend other guests. Just as he was about to refuse, Theo suddenly spoke up and asked, "Is it LC Company? It used to be called Stone Company some time ago, but changed its name after the acquisition." Theo immediately exclaimed, "Isn't this the plot from chapter 95 of the original book?" In this chapter, Chris no longer pretends to be weak, but instead starts to demonstrate his true strength step by step. He wanted to prove himself to the Quinn family, so he took over the top floor of Moon Hotel, which was never open to the public, to host a grand birthday banquet for Quinn. At this birthday banquet, the members of the Quinn family all had swollen faces. No one dared to underestimate him again. Quinn was also conquered by his romance, completely enamored with him. After taking over the Quinn family, his power in the Sioux region grew stronger. He started working on merging with the Tang family. "You are always trying to trick me, aren't you?" Theo cursed in his mind. He said this system suddenly being so generous. There must be something fishy going on. According to the original plot, Chris sent Brooks to book the entire place. The top floor was reserved for Quinn's birthday banquet. The hotel's general manager refused to bend the rules no matter what. So Brooks grabbed the general manager by the neck, threatening him with death. He said if he didn't agree, he would die. After the hotel general manager had one foot in the gate of death, he realized he had offended someone he couldn't afford to. He could only agree to it. If Chris really succeeds in taking down the Quinn family, he will become a powerful force. Coupled with LC Company and other forces, the Tang family and myself will be in great danger. It's a matter of life and death. There's no way we can survive. After taking a deep breath, his gaze fell on the hotel manager. If he remembered correctly, his little brother also had outstanding talent. Theo grinned and winked at him. "I think we can agree to take the top floor contract. But we absolutely cannot let the birthday banquet happen. You know what I mean?" The manager nodded. He was still a little confused. With some doubts, he left the office and met Brooks, who was waiting in the meeting room. Brooks shook hands with the manager with a proud expression and said, "My name is Brooks. My boss wants to book the top floor for his woman, Miss Quinn's birthday. How much does it cost? Give me a price." He heard about the rules of Moon Hotel. They do not accept bookings for the top floor. However, Chris has given the order. Whatever Chris wants to do must be done. He is prepared to show the other party who is in charge. Let Moon Hotel know. There are some people they cannot refuse. The manager's eyes instantly darkened. Quinn is their boss's woman. He's here to compete with Theo for a woman. No wonder Theo wanted to give his consent first before setting up a trap. It turns out, he was intentionally trying to embarrass the other party. The manager smiled triumphantly in his heart. He agreed wholeheartedly and stated that this time, there would be no charge. His attitude made Brooks somewhat surprised. It must be due to the presence of LC Company. It made the other party feel flattered. After all, making a bold move to acquire a company worth $500 billion definitely signals something. Anyone with a little bit of brains can see that. Someone capable of doing such a thing must have immeasurable strength. After both parties confirmed this matter, Theo nodded satisfactorily. The system wants to deceive me with my extraordinary wisdom. With talented subordinates by my side, how could a mere small system stand a chance against me? The man was reborn as the villain in a novel. Because he successfully survived a certain plotline. He was rewarded by the system and received a hotel worth 20 billion yuan. Unexpectedly, as soon as he acquired the hotel, the male lead was ready to reserve the top floor for the female lead's birthday. In order to survive, Theo instructed his men to sabotage the matter. Theo thought for a moment. Following the original plot, to demonstrate their power, Chris also helped. The Quinn family took control of the piece of land in the west of the city, which is currently in their possession. After Brooks left the hotel, the next step is to take care of this matter. To avoid trouble with the crazy dog, Theo decided to use the same old trick again. He called the hotel manager and asked him to give the piece of land in the west of the city to the Quinn family first so that Chris could show off his strength to the Quinn family. After the birthday banquet is ruined, we can just take back the land. At that time, if the Quinn family feels like they are being played, how can we still treat them well? In any case, we cannot let that dog continue to grow in Sioux region. The hotel manager now completely understands that Theo wants to give this piece of land to the Quinn family as a birthday gift. Theo is indeed generous when making a move. It must be arranged. At this moment, Theo received a prompt from the system. Hooray! Due to shamelessness triggering a special reward, he successfully mastered the ancient martial arts skill Fudo Myo technique. Theo exclaimed in shock. In urban cool texts, if there is no cultivation, ancient martial arts are definitely the most powerful existence. According to the introduction given by the system, reaching the perfect realm of cultivation will make the body incredibly tough, meaning you can't break through my defense. But this can only be used once. It's a bit of a pitfall. After Theo left, the manager stayed in the office feeling extremely excited. Completing the task entrusted by Theo was definitely a promotion. Crushing the romantic rival into the ground will surely give Theo some face. 2 hours later, the birthday banquet plan finally came over. The plan is quite romantic. Chris, right? At this birthday banquet, if I don't step on your face, my last name is not Wang. After leaving Moon Hotel, Brooks, as the person in charge of LC Company, contacted another important figure. He wants to help the Quinn family secure this piece of land. It was originally quite a tricky matter. He thought it would require some unconventional means to resolve. Once he contacted the other party, upon hearing Brooks' intentions, they quickly agreed without even mentioning any conditions. They simply said to give their LC company some face. Both tasks went so smoothly that he felt quite proud. His organization had simply acquired a 500 billion conglomerate, causing the entire Sioux region to take notice. No wonder Chris chose this place as his first foothold upon returning to X country. He quickly called Chris and reported to him once the call was connected. Quickly, the news spread throughout the Sioux region. Even the young master of the Tang family couldn't do it. The top floor of the Moon Hotel that was originally contracted has actually been taken over by the boss of LC Company. The entire upper-class society is curious. Who exactly is this mysterious boss of LC Company? Who is his woman again? She was able to book the top floor of Moon Hotel for her birthday. 3 days later, several luxury cars suddenly stopped at the Quinn family's gate. After Brooks got out of the car, he walked into the Quinn family's gate. After learning that Brooks had arrived, everyone in the Quinn family was a bit surprised. Isn't Brooks the boss of LC Company? Brooks walked up to Quinn and bowed before saying, Chris asked me to come and take you all to Moon Hotel for your birthday. Quinn's expression changed slightly. It seems that Chris really had the top floor of Moon Hotel booked for them. Quinn took a deep breath. He decided to go visit after all. No matter what, he must make it clear to him today that he's not interested in him. Shortly after, a group of people got on the bus and drove towards Moon Hotel. The man was reborn as the villain in the novel. He barely survived 2 plotlines. As a result, he faced another life-or-death situation. In order to survive until the end, he had to go along with the male lead's intentions and celebrate the female lead's birthday at his own hotel. Seeing Quinn approaching, Chris couldn't help but smirk knowingly, feeling a triumphant sense of satisfaction. Quinn sighed. He was just about to speak and sort things out. The whole night sky was illuminated by fireworks. The sudden sound interrupted her,